3, 2, 1, and we're live. Episode 2 of The War Room, brought to you by Triple D Promotions, and I'm your host, Dustin Woods. I thought I'd do episode 2 here, being it's Bash for Cash Week, and talk a little bit about the archives, and kind of go through them. I'm going to post them on a video, and probably save you guys a couple arguments, okay, over the next week or maybe at the upcoming weekend at the Bash for Cash. So let's go ahead, man. Let's go through the lineup. It's 7 years of the Bash for Cash. First and foremost, 2012. All right, your lineup. Here you go. There's your top 10 posted. You see a typical names, at the top. A couple things I want to mention here. Toby Hiley finished second that year, but that's that famous wagon. Okay, don't forget what he did with that wagon and how many wins he's got with that wagon. I believe that wagon's still around today. I think Ziz has it, unless he crushed it recently. I believe he definitely has it. But you see a familiar name at the top. I think you're going to see this name a couple more times in the next 7 years as we go through this. Trent Braun gets his first win at the Bash for Cash. Turn back the clock. 2013, moving on here. Paul Petros sneaks in. All right. Paul Petros sneaks in, beats Joey Braun. I think Joey broke a rear end that year. We got Randy Hiley third, Scott Thiel fourth. Toby Hiley loses a ball joint that year, and I believe he melts down his motor. Obviously the rest of your top 10s there, Josh, Tony, Jim, Randy, and Josh again there. So those are your 2013 rundown. 2014, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if you guys were at the 2014 Bash for Cash, but Trent Braun had the baddest wagon I think anyone's ever seen. I mean, that thing, it was unbelievable. It's one of those iconic images of Demolition Derby, much like Toby's wagon and Tinkerbell and several other things that we'll get into. I'm sure we'll have some guys on a podcast and talk what are the most iconic builds of the sport. But back to 2014, kind of an odd ending there. If you're from Mercer County, you kind of been waiting to see the Braun Hiley matchup for forever, and we kind of I don't know if we got robbed of it. Maybe someday we'll talk about how the ending of that went. Ended up being Josh Braun wins and gets his first win in a sedan too. At that, so little bit of controversy there, but look at that lineup. You got Buchanan, you got Trevor Cook, Corey Roman, Paul Petro, Trent Braun, Joey, Braun Hiley's second and third, and then Josh is taking the top spot. Not on the list. I mean, that heat was loaded. I just watched it online again. It was loaded. Hickman was in there in a wagon. I think he fell just short of the top 10 that year. 2015. There's a couple things going on here. Dave Meyer makes his first appearance in the top 10. You're going to keep seeing that name from 2015 on. Jeff Heinen makes his first appearance in the top 10. And, Joey and Josh are at the top as brothers, and Josh goes back to back. That year, I remember distinctly Wes Money Breaks. He had a really nice-looking sedan. They're beaten up on towards the end there. But Josh Braun goes back to back, beats brother Joey Braun to take the top spot. 2015 Bash for Cash. 2016. Again, we talked about Dave Meyer in 15. Dave Meyer gets a second place here. Familiar names at the top again. Trent takes it home. Joey's third. We got Jeff Heinen fourth. Wes fifth. JoJo Davis. You got Todd, Jake, and Matt, and Kenny rounding out your top 10 there. Trent Braun, second. Okay, that's his second win in the turn back the clock class. 2017, Trent Braun goes back to back and gathers his third win, breaking a tie with one of his sons, Josh Braun. for the most wins and to turn back the clock under Smash It. Jake Hall, I remember Jake Hall that year in a caddy really well. He's buddies with the Heinens. He left his tires open late, and Trent's just too good of a driver, and took care of him. Got some big names, Siopa, Kenny Grady's in there again, Jeremy Heinen, Jack Fissler Jr. Obviously, he puts on Metal Mayhem Derby Icons now. So there's your name rounding out 2017. Oh, yeah, I want to mention, I think, 2017, you got to go back and watch that. That is probably one of the best driving performances I've ever seen. Trent, he drove the wheels off that thing. He was getting beat on early. Lost both Joey and Josh. You notice they're not in the top 10 that year. Lost both of them and drove her down and still won it. Unbelievable. 2018, we got a familiar name up there, but a different name. Joey Braun finally breaks through, beats Dave Meyer. Tough luck for Dave Meyer. He racks up another second place here. So you got a couple different names in there. Luke Klein, hey, he's up and coming. He's a bad dude. Jeff Heinen's in there. Daryl Muldoon. And, you see Kelly down there at 10. Kelly, he's swooping in and grabbing a top 10 spot. With that said, I want to talk about, some other things with the Bash for Cash and the old school, okay? Kind of put some of these arguments to rest, just, facts-wise. 2018 was the most electric atmosphere. The Siopas, the Bronze, the Braun for life, Siopa for life. It was unbelievable. It was very polarizing. You were on one side or the other. I know we were up in the crowd and people were just screaming, going nuts. It was war. Obviously, Braun's got the best of them. And, as they quite often do with everybody at the Bash for Cash. Let's talk about a couple things, with the Bash for Cash. Let's talk about the most wins. I'll post this too. Trent Braun has 3 wins. Josh Braun coming in at 2. Paul Petro split the bronze. This is the only year, okay? The only year, and I believe it was 2013. Paul Petro sneaks in and beats Joey. Joey gets second that year. Paul Petro's got to win, and then Joey Braun's got to win. I put together a neat little list of the most top 10s, at the Bash for Cash in the last 7 years. So you got Joey Braun coming in at 6, Trent coming in at 4. I want to note that Trent did not run in 13 or 15. Paul Petro's got 4. Dave Myers got 4. Randy Hiley, legend, got 4. He's not Derby anymore, but what an icon. Toby Hiley's got 3, and he's got 2 seconds. We got Josh Braun coming in at 3. Billy Penwall coming at 2. Wes Moneybreak coming in at 2. Jeff Heinen at 2. Scott Thiel at 2. Jake Hall at 2. Jeremy Heinen at 2. And Kenny Grady at 2. I don't think I missed anyone at the 2 there. But a nice little list, fact check it, whatever you want. We did our homework here. We put together the archives. I just wanted to bring it to you guys. Thanks for tuning in. It is Bash for Cash Week. I love to hear who you got. We know who the favorites are. It's 6 out of 7 for them, which is, guys. We'll get into it, I'm sure, with some guys on a podcast and talk about that. But will that ever be duplicated? I don't know. It's not sounded like there's going to be several heats for the old school this year, which is, what is that? Is that guys, is that old school cars just getting hard to find? Is that guys not wanting to run against the bronze? I don't know. Can you really, get on those guys for being at the top of the game? It's not their fault. Everybody else got to step up their game, you would think. But anyways, that's a conversation for another day. I want to throw another episode on here. Episode 2 of the War Room. We'll do some 80s and newer later on in the week. And, hey, thanks for tuning in.